Before we get started, shout out to my man Mickey Guns. Go check out his boxing page. That's right, shout out to my man Mickey Guns.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
What is he, a 4-division world champion, I believe? So,
his losses are respectable. They've aged well.
Yeah, he lost to Marcos Maidana. You know, he's fought a who's list of guys. But in terms of, being a 4-division world champion, I would say he's probably the worst 4-division world champion that we've ever seen.
That was Chris Algieri talking about Adrien the Problem Broner, a.k.a. AB, a.k.a. About Billions, Athletic, you know what. That's a very controversial subject. Adrien Broner is one of the most hated men in boxing and the most beloved, one of the most beloved men in boxing. And we're gonna look into what he said and break down how good was AB. What was his best wins? What was his I'm gonna say best losses, and like, well, what the heck does that mean? Losses that he could have won, should have won, might have won, but you know how it is with boxing. Basically, did he have any controversial decisions that could have went his way? His ultimate downfall, etc., etc. So, without any further ado, let's get into what Chris Algieri spoke on. Now, Adrien Broner, he's a 4-division world champion, as Mr. Algieri just explained. Now, according to him, he's the worst. First thing we got to go through is see who else were at least 4-division champions to determine if he was the worst. So we got to go that route first. So here we go. Now, some of these are going to be much easier than others, so we just for the video's sake, just go skip past. Like Manny Pacquiao, there's no need to even compare. Floyd Mayweather, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy Jones, Roberto Duran, Oscar De La Hoya, Pernell Whitaker, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, Nonito Donaire, Chocolatito. I mean, yeah, I can't. Then you had Adrien Broner. Now, the last two, I'm just going to ignore it. And the reason why is because of the weight class. Well, number one, I'm not that familiar with them. And number two, like, honestly, I don't watch anything really below featherweight, maybe a little flyweight. So Chocolatito was on my radar. Those last two guys, I know nothing about them. Now, if you want to speak on them in the comment section, great, please do. But I'm gonna cut it off at Chocolatito, and I would have to give him the edge over Broner, and not even a slight edge, a big edge. And the reason why I say that is because he had title reigns. He was what I consider a real champion. Broner is what I would consider a belt holder. And you say, well, Doc, what are you talking about? Sound like you making stuff up on the fly. No, actually I'm not. This is what I mean. When you look at Chocolatito's resume, he had a lengthy title defense with the WBC flyweight title. Let's see how many defenses he had. He won it against Akira Yagashi or something like that. He defended it. He defended it after he won it once. Let's see, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6. Then he finally lost it. Okay, he lost it to Wasaki C. I can't pronounce these dudes' names, man. But then he got the WBA World Super Flyweight title. He defended that, let's see, once. Then he lost to Juan Francisco Estrada. Let me see, he won the Diamond title. Then he ran into Francisco Estrada again, and that didn't turn out too good for him. But my point is, he had a long title reign. Broner never had that at all. Let's see, he had, what else did he have? WBA interim flyweight, WBA minimum. Okay, we're going all the way back to that when he was at 104. Like I said, this is stuff I didn't witness. You know, I watched Chocolatito when he was older, and basically when they threw him in front of the world and made him like top 3 pound for pound. But the WBA world minimum title, he defended, he won that 6, something like that. See, but that's what I'm saying. He was a showed up champion. You know, he held down the division. Broner didn't do that. We can't say that about Adrien Broner in no form or fashion. Broner held titles for a hot second. Okay, matter of fact, let's just go through Broner stuff. And like I said, there's no real reason to compare him to a Sugar Ray or Floyd or Duran or Hearns, these other guys that did it. Even the Eric Moraleses and stuff like that, because they had rivalries. Broner didn't have that. You know, they had the Pacquiao rivalry, the Marquez's and stuff like that. Broner didn't have anything like that. Even in defeat, you know, you had rubber matches and stuff like that. You didn't get that with Adrien Broner. His first world title was the WBA World Super Featherweight title that was vacated. So he was fighting for a vacated belt. He beat Vincent Martin Rodriguez, who was 34-2-1. That ain't bad. But you didn't beat the champion for that belt. But that's okay. He defended that belt 2 times. Okay? Against Lloyd Perez and Vincent Escobedo. One was 23-0, the other one was 26-3. Alright, after that he moved up to 135. He beat Antonio DeMarco. That's one of his toughest fights right there that he actually won. Okay, he defended that belt once against Gavin Reese, who was 37-1-1. Then he moved up and skipped 2 divisions. That's impressive. But you fought somebody that didn't fight like a welterweight, because he moved up to welterweight. But you fought somebody that really punched more like a 140 pounder or 135 pounder with Paulie. But he did indeed beat Paulie Malignaggi for his 3rd title, WBA World Welterweight title. And back then, you know, they didn't have all the confusion with the Super. So he was the WBA champion, a real champion, 147. Paulie was 32-4-0. Probably not in his prime. Matter of fact, ain't no probably. He was not in his prime. At that point, Paulie had been in a lot of wars. So you probably got Paulie, not quite Paulie when he fought Zab Judah. But, you know, Paulie, he was still okay. But I forget who Paulie beat for the belt. But true indeed, he fought Paulie Malignaggi and beat him in what could have been a controversial win. I thought Broner won the fight personally, but you would have some that would disagree, mainly Paulie Malignaggi, of course. So then he fought Marcus Madonna, took that L, got his first loss. Brutal fight, took a beating. Showed heart though, Started the fight playing around, fell behind, got knocked down, came back, you know, made a good show of it, made the fight close till he got knocked down again. Then Madonna just kind of cruised off from there. Moved back to 140, fought for another vacant title against
Habib Alakverdiev.
basically an unknown fighter in my opinion. The reason why I say that, the dude was 19-1, pretty good record, right? 2-1 in title fights. Fought Adrien Broner, lost, didn't fight since, so whatever. But in my opinion, his biggest wins was against Paulie Malignaggi, Adrien Granados, probably Antonio DeMarco. My opinion, those are who I thought his biggest wins were. My point is, really, his biggest wins, for him to be this all-time great, should have been names bigger than that. The only person who named on that list who might be a Hall of Fame, and I'm going to say might, is Paulie Malignaggi. Other than that, it lacks luster. Now look at who he lost to. He lost to Manny Pacquiao, nothing wrong with that. He lost to Sean Porter, nothing wrong with that. Lost to Mikey Garcia, nothing wrong with that. He lost to Blair Cobbs. That one is the shaky one. Him losing to Blair Cobbs. Let me see, who else am I leaving? Somebody out. Pacquiao. I think that's it. John Molina, Carlos Molina. These wins were against decent fighters, but he didn't beat anybody of any significance. He tied with Jesse Vargas. I think at welterweight he was 4-1. Just, he never really. If you look at his career, where's the big wins at? He really didn't have any. Paulie Malignaggi, that's it. Now, I think people got so excited when they saw him coming up at 130 and 135, and they placed him somewhere where he really didn't belong at. 135 at that time didn't have the big names. I believe at that time, Mikey Garcia might have been going through his little mess with Bob Arum, if I'm not mistaken. So he kind of, and then plus not just that, matter of fact, that was probably before then, but he would have been in that Mikey Garcia era at 135 or 130, but he moved up so fast, and to me that's where things get ugly, because we don't really know. We can say Adrien would have dominated 135 for a decade if he could have stayed there, and that could have very well been true. But because he moved up, we don't know what would have happened. I would say this: he never would have dominated 147 from Floyd, which, you know, when he moved up to 147, Floyd and Manny was still there. From that to Errol Spence and Keith Thurmans and the Sean Porters, heck, even the Devin Alexanders of the world, the Tim Bradleys. I don't think he would have beat any of those guys. He just based off of what I've seen from what he's shown us, because I mean, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20. I don't see anybody. Heck, even Amir Khan, I'm not even sure if he would have beat Amir Khan, and that's at 140 or 147. I believe Amir Khan at 140 would have smoked him. Danny Garcia would, like, where at one point he would have outgrown 135, and between people like Amir Khan, Danny Garcia at 140, Devin Alexander, what's his name, Robert Guerrero. I mean, it would have been people all over the place between 140 and 147 that he would have had that dealt with at some point in time. I mean, even if you say if he would have dedicated himself, because we say that was the downfall of AB, the fact that, you know, he drank a lot and partied and tried to be a rapper and a porn star and all of this. Where was the success supposed to come in at? Where was he supposed to have dominated? Because at the end of the day, 147 was so stiff, unless he would have stayed at 140, it was going to be the same. Matter of fact, could have been worse. Jesse Vargas ain't a chump. That's what, a 2-division champion, 2-time, 3-time, whatever champion. But you draw it with him. Adrien Granados, truth be told, let's be honest, you can make the argument he lost against Granados. Pacquiao, the Pacquiao fight was there for him to win if he would have let his hands go. Speaking of, that's the one thing every Adrien Broner fan will say anytime you mention his name. If he let his hands go, Same thing in the Blair Cobbs fight, if he let his hands go. When he fought, and then, to me, this was the last time we saw the real Adrien Broner, is when he fought Mikey Garcia. And what did his corner say? Come on, man, let your hands go. What are you doing? That's the story of AB right there in a nutshell. He won 2 vacant titles at 130 and 140. He beat a pretty good Antonio Marco, but who else? It's not there. Outside of Antonio DeMarco, I think I said Marco. Outside of Antonio DeMarco and Paulie Malignaggi, everything else is either he lost, and we said if he would have let his hands go, he could have, should have, would have, might have won, or he fought and beat somebody that really was C+, B- level at best. Like I said, in my opinion, his best win, in my opinion, is Paulie Malignaggi, Adrien Granados, Antonio DeMarco, Daniel Ponce de Leon. If you want to throw John Molina in there, cool, but C+ fighter? He didn't beat anybody of significance. He didn't. I mean, if you be honest with yourself, you can't help but agree. I believe, I can't say he was the worst 4-division champ, because I don't know enough about those last 2 guys to make that declaration. But everybody else that's ahead of him, no doubt about it, I can't put him on the level of no Hearns or Duran or Sugar Ray, Pacquiao, Floyd. Like, come on, he just... And that ain't even blaming him for winning vacant titles, but you didn't beat anybody. Like, I don't know, man. That's just my opinion. Hit me up in the comment section. Give me yours. I'm done with it. Hopefully, because he said he's not gonna retire. Hopefully he'll get back in the gym. Don't take a long layoff. Cause that's part of the problem too. Over the last 5 or 6 years, he hadn't really been active. Like, really, the back end of his career, he murdered himself. The back end of his career, he did nothing. And I ain't even mentioned the street stuff or the trouble with the law or none of that. I basically kept it boxing. So I mean, trust me, it could have been worse. But like I said, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know, where do you place Adrien Broner as one of the 16 men to win 4 titles in 4 divisions or more? Because Pacquiao, Floyd, Sugar Ray, and Oscar, they actually won it in more divisions. Where do you rate them at? You know what I'm saying? And while we're at it, do you think he need to go on here and retire? Maybe become a color commentator or an analyst or something like that? Because he does have the gift of gab. It might need to tone it down a little bit, but he got charisma, etc. What's in the future for Adrien Broner? What should lie ahead? Let me know what you think. This Head Busting Box is on Fight Doctor. I am out.
Mm-hmm.